everyone, thanks for tuning in to KT Garage. In this video, we're going to go over the procedure for replacing the gasket on the valve cover of Jeeps that are range from 2007, 2018. If you have any of these model years, it should apply to you. This is a 2017. I did the passenger side a few months ago, and originally I wasn't gonna make a video because there's so many good videos out there that I can just follow and I don't have to make one for you guys. Halfway through, I ran into all kinds of issues that none of the videos addressed the issues. So I made one for you guys for the passenger side. Now my driver side leaked just a couple of months later. So I'll make another video, and I'm just gonna reference the video that I'm following for you guys to follow that video, and then this video is supposed to be a supplemental to this particular video that I'm following. I'm just gonna point out the things that they didn't cover, or they didn't cover well enough for you to fully understand how to get it done. So I'm gonna go through step by step on what's missing from this video that I am going to reference on the description section, so you can click on that and follow that video, and then follow mine as a supplemental. So from the beginning, they already missed a step. We're supposed to disconnect the battery terminal when doing any kind of engine work, and this is a major engine work, so it's always a good idea to disconnect the terminals. Now I like to work on the negative terminal just because it has a lot less wire. You got a bunch of wires over here to work with. This is just, a lot easier to tuck them away, and you use a 10mm wrench to back this nut out, and then you lift it straight up, and then you just tuck it away. Make sure that you tucked it like all the way down there, just like that, so it doesn't accidentally come up and then reconnect itself. So I'm going to leave it right there. Now I can go ahead and work on the gasket replacement. So the first issue that I ran into was trying to take the connector out of this map sensor. So you got to completely get this piece out, and that connector goes right into here. I broke the red tab, and I wasn't able to pull the connector out. I'm going to show you how I addressed that issue. Okay, so when I try to pull the red safety pin out, so there's another piece already snapped. You can see that when this piece is snapped, you have no way of getting this out. Even with a needle nose plier, you can't get these out because it's in like that. Very hard to get them out. So what I did was I go behind here, and you can see that back here there's an opening. So you're gonna stick a small screwdriver. Let's see if I get the one. Okay, so this is the one that I used to repair the iPhone back in the days. So just something small, and then you kind of just stick it in there and push that red pin out. And once you put that red pin out, you're able to press down this tab and bring it out. So not too bad, but it took me a few minutes to figure out how to get this out. Same thing happened to this throttle body position sensor clip. So I tried to pry, just using my finger, and I broke off this red piece right here. It's supposed to come out and release this latch so you can push it in and get it out, but I couldn't do that. So what I did was I stick this little screwdriver inside and manually lift up the lip that is in here. You can't see it, but it's in there. So you stick it in and then just push it in like that and force it, lift it up, and then it comes right out just like that. So yeah, just make sure you follow this procedure and try not to pry too much on this piece, because it's latch, it won't come out, and then you break this piece and then you're gonna be in trouble. And now you gotta go buy another one. So to remove this bracket right here, I found that it was difficult to get to the stud below. So there's two of them. There's one there, then one on the other side. Not sure. Yeah, it's kind of blocked by this piece, but it's there. It's real difficult to get to. I got to one, and then this one, I could get to it, but it's gonna take a while to use the wrench. So what I did was I removed the inner fender, and I really can't show you guys how to remove your inner fender because I have the aftermarket ones, but for you guys, it's just like remove just a bunch of bolts that holding the inner fender together, and then you get this whole thing exposed, and you can see that the stud is right there, and it's very easily accessible, and you just come in with a socket and take it out. So I advise you guys to remove the inner fender, and later on when you start, you know, trying to pry the cover, the valve cover, it's going to be so much easier because the valve cover is right there, and you can just, you know, try to pry it out from down there just to get this end to come up. So it's really worth it to get this fender out. For you guys that work on the cars a lot, I recommend to go and get one of these drivers. They're really helpful in tight spaces. And also get yourself like a whole kit of like different lengths of extender, because you're gonna need to get into distance bolts. And in this application, and you can get these from Harbor Freight for like super cheap. So yeah, get yourself a whole kit with different lengths. Now check this out. Look at how simple this is gonna be for me to come in here and get this bolt out, or the stud actually. And that's it, it's out. I'm at a point where I removed the upper intake manifold, take that out, and we're exposing to the coils. I took the coils out. Now, this is the best time to replace your spark plug, because, you know, you spend over an hour to get to this point, and if your spark plug is old, it makes sense to change them. So just make sure you use a really good one, because if you really don't want to tear up half of your engine just to get to the spark plug, you get a good one. It'll last for 100,000 miles. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap out the spark plug. It's gonna take a 5/8 socket. The old spark plug. The Jeep has about 100,000 miles on it, and these are the original spark plug. And when I checked the gap size, it turns out to be around 49,000, and the manual is calling for 43,000. So this burned out quite a bit, and you can see, like, if you look carefully, you can see that it get burned out quite a bit. So it's not going to be very efficient burning fuel. So it's a good thing that I changed the spark plug. I already changed the other side when I worked on the other valve cover. So and then a couple months later, this side leaked. So this is the best time to replace the spark plug. Since these are aluminum heads, it's a good idea to put a little bit of anti-seize into your spark plug. Don't overdo it, but put a little bit on there just so it doesn't seize on you. Now, when you get it in, just make sure that you use a torque wrench and dial it to 20 foot-pound. And make sure you go get yourself a good one. Don't buy the cheap one, because it's not going to give you the good values. So invest into something that you can reuse over and over again with good values. So I'm going to get this in and hit it with 20 foot-pounds. got the cover out without much problems. The video that I referred to did a great job on showing us how to get all the bolts and everything to get the cover out. So after inspecting it, I looked all over, I looked back there, and I got myself a mirror that I can just come down like below where the seal is and look for leaks. It turns out that this side of the head, the gasket is not leaking, so the leak is coming from somewhere else. But I'm glad I got in here and replaced the seal, because the seal does look old. But apparently it's not leaking from there. So my next investigation is I'm gonna close up. I'm gonna put the cover back, and then I'm gonna take the lower intake manifold out. There's another location that brought the leak is the oil filter. The entire assembly, and is hiding below the lower manifold. So I gotta take that out to do the investigation, but I think I'm gonna find a bunch of oil down in that valley. That's the second place where it's gonna leak. So anyway, this just turned into a bigger project, but that's all right. I got this side done. I'm gonna go ahead and close it up, and then we'll do further investigation. So when you guys replace the seal, just make sure that you identify a place where it leaked. And if everything looks dry, that means that it's leaking from somewhere else. So you gotta continue to look for evidence of leak. Otherwise, you're just gonna waste your time by the time you close up everything and then it's still leaking. I got the driver's side valve cover back in and torque everything up. Seems like the video that I referred to did a really nice job on instructing us to get everything back. Now, this side is not nearly as bad as the passenger side, because I had so much issues getting things in and out on that side. So I'm glad this is done. Now I'm gonna have to go and investigate on the oil filter. Well, I hope that the valve cover gaskets was the problem, and you guys get that fixed and be done with it. In my case, I'm not that lucky. It's leaking somewhere else, and I'm pretty sure the next culprit would be the oil filter assembly. They prone to crack and leak oil. So I'm gonna go ahead and investigate that. Now I'm gonna just wrap up this video, because it's about replacing the valve cover gaskets on the driver's side. I'm probably gonna make another video on working on the oil filter assembly, just in case I'm just gonna follow another video from this same company. They did a great job with it, but I'm gonna follow that, and if I identify anything that I should let you guys know, I'll make another video. I appreciate you guys tuning in to KT Garage. You like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.